When my brother kicked me out of our father's company, he said, "You'll never be anything without me." But last week, he walked into my office, and I was the one sitting behind the CEO desk. He didn't even realize the signature on his paycheck was mine. My name is Emma Calloway. And this is the story of how the brother who stole everything from me ended up working for me. For as long as I can remember, my brother, Daniel, was the golden child. Charming, confident, and always in control. While I was the quiet one, the dreamer who believed hard work would be enough. Our father, Richard Calloway, built an empire from nothing. Calloway Industries, a massive conglomerate that supplied everything from luxury interiors to architectural designs for five-star hotels. Growing up, I idolized him. He taught me that business wasn't about profit, it was about legacy. I wanted to carry that legacy forward. But Daniel, he wanted to own it. When our father passed away, his will stated that both Daniel and I would share equal control of the company. But equality, in Daniel's mind, was a threat. He wanted all of it. "Emma," he said one night, sipping his whiskey in father's old study, "you're good at sketches, at pretty ideas, but this is business. You don't have the grit for this world." I stayed silent. I didn't argue. Because I knew arguing with Daniel was like trying to reason with a storm, you'd only get destroyed in the process. Over the next few months, he did what he did best, manipulate. He convinced the board that I wasn't ready. That I was emotionally unstable after father's death. And when I refused to step down, he pulled the cruelest move of all, he froze my accounts, stripped my access, and locked me out of the company. I still remember standing outside the Calloway headquarters, the same glass doors that once opened for me every morning, now guarded, my ID card deactivated. When I called him, his voice was cold. "It's just business, Emma. You'll thank me one day." But what he didn't know was that in trying to erase me, he had set my purpose on fire. I rented a small co-working space downtown. I had no funding, no support, just a laptop, my portfolio, and rage turned into resolve. For months, I worked day and night, designing sustainable, modular structures, eco-friendly architecture that merged luxury with responsibility. The kind of innovation Calloway Industries had ignored for decades. People laughed at me. Investors said I was too idealistic. But then came my first break. A boutique hotel in Dubai wanted a new eco-retreat concept. I pitched my design through a grainy Zoom call, wearing the same white blazer I'd worn the day I was fired. They said yes. That single contract became my foundation. I named my firm Novari, meaning to renew. Every project was personal, every blueprint a declaration that I didn't need the Calloway name to build an empire. 2 years later, Novari Designs had expanded globally. Our designs were on magazine covers, luxury listings, and investor portfolios. Clients flew across continents to meet me. And one day, my assistant walked into my office with a file and said, "Emma, we've received a proposal from Calloway Industries." I froze. My brother's company, the one that destroyed me, now wanted my firm to lead their new sustainable architecture project. The irony was exquisite. When I walked into the Calloway boardroom after 3 years, the silence was heavy. Daniel looked up from his chair, his confident smirk fading into disbelief. "Emma," he said. "What are you doing here?" I smiled. "You invited me." He blinked, confused. Then the CFO explained, "Calloway Industries has officially appointed Novari as the design lead for Project Renaissance." Daniel's jaw tightened. You're behind Novari?" I nodded. Surprise. The room was thick with tension. He shifted uncomfortably in his chair as I opened the presentation. "Our designs redefine what luxury can mean: efficiency, sustainability, purpose," I said smoothly. The same words father used to tell us as children. I watched Daniel's expression twist, realization hitting that I'd built everything he thought I couldn't. After the meeting, he caught me in the hallway. "You planned this," he accused. I turned to him, calm as ever. "No, Daniel. You did when you kicked me out." Over the next few months, our companies worked side by side. But the power dynamic had shifted. He needed my signature on every deal. Every paycheck he signed for his employees came from the funds approved by Novari. It didn't take long before the truth spread across the industry. Daniel Calloway now answered to his sister. Still, I didn't seek revenge, I sought justice through excellence. I rebuilt what he had broken, not out of spite, but out of conviction. Then came the inevitable. Callaway Industries faced financial strain. Outdated systems, poor decisions, and ego-driven leadership had bled it dry. Their investors wanted out, unless they merged with Novari. Daniel came to my office himself. For the first time in years, he wasn't wearing confidence, just exhaustion. "Emma," he said quietly. "The company's falling apart. I need your help." I studied him for a long moment. "Do you remember what you said when you fired me?" He swallowed. "That you'd never survive without me." "And?" He looked down. I was wrong. I could have let him drown. But I remembered what Father always said, leadership is not about revenge, it's about responsibility, so I agreed to merge, on one condition. I lead. You stay on as regional director, under me. His pride shattered in that moment, but he nodded. He needed the company to live, even if it meant losing his crown. Months later, the merger was complete. Callaway Industries became Novari Global, with me as the CEO. The press called it the most poetic corporate turnaround of the decade. I just called it peace. And then came that quiet, perfect moment. It was payday. I was reviewing salary disbursements when I noticed his name on the list, Daniel Calloway. The man who once made me beg for access, now relied on my signature for his paycheck. I leaned back in my chair, the city skyline glowing through the glass windows, and whispered, "Looks like I made it, Father." Today, Daniel and I coexist professionally. He's changed, humbled, respectful, even kind at times. Maybe losing everything taught him what family really means. And as for me, I learned that sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply becoming everything they said you couldn't. Because in the end, power isn't about control. It's about grace. And nothing is more powerful than a woman who rebuilds her own empire and then signs the checks for the ones who once doubted her.